This is Mamuni. Thank you so much for being Amar Baba Ma.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I am going to discuss how to solve a trial balance problem. So let's get started. Cholo shuru kara jak. Now let's see the problem. From the following list of balances extracted from the books of Mr. Kapoor, prepare a trial balance as on 31st March 2022. The amount required to balance should be entered as capital. Means there will be a balancing figure. আমাদের ট্রায়াল ব্যালেন্স ট্যালি করবে না। যে ব্যালেন্সিং ফিগারটা আসবে সেটা ক্যাপিটাল হিসেবে ট্রিট করতে হবে। Understood? Here the name of accounts are given and here the amounts are given. So the first account is cash, 50,000. So let's write. Cash is a debit balance and that is the reason we're writing 50,000 in the debit column. Why cash is a debit balance? Because cash comes under real account. According to real account, what comes in is debit. Here, from the business point of view, cash comes into the business. So cash account will be debited. Let's see the next account. The next account is accrued income, 8,000. Let's write. Accrued income. Accrued income is a debit balance and that is the reason we're writing 8,000 in the debit column. Why accrued income is a debit balance? Because accrued income falls under personal account. According to personal account, the receiver of the benefit is debit. Here accrued income is the receiver of the benefit. So accrued income will be debited. Understood? Let's see the next account. The next account is income received in advance, 7,000. So let's write income received in advance, 7,000. Income received in advance is a credit balance. That is the reason we have written 7,000 in the credit column. But why? Because income received in advance falls under personal account. According to personal account, the giver of the benefit is credit. Here, income received in advance is the giver of the benefit. So 7,000 will be credited. Understood? Let's see the next account. The next account is outstanding expenses, 3,000. Let's write. Outstanding expenses. Outstanding expenses is a credit balance. That is the reason we are writing 3,000 in the credit column. Understood? But why outstanding expenses is a credit balance? Because outstanding expenses falls under personal account. According to personal account, the giver of the benefit is credit. Here, outstanding expenses is the giver of the benefit. So outstanding expenses will be credited. Understood? Let's see the next account. The next account is prepaid expenses, 2,000. Let's write prepaid expenses. Prepaid expenses is a debit balance. So we are writing 2,000 in the debit column. Why prepaid expenses is a debit balance? Because prepaid expenses comes under personal account. According to personal account, the receiver of the benefit is debit. Here, prepaid expenses is the receiver of the benefit. So prepaid expenses will be debited. Let's see the next account. The next account is land, 1 lakh. Let's write land. Land is a debit balance and that is the reason we're writing 1 lakh in the debit column. Land is an asset. Land falls under real account. According to real account, what comes in is debit. Here, when the business purchased land, the land comes into the business. So, land will be debited. Understood? Let's see the next account. The next account is sales, 40,000. Let's write. Sales is a credit balance. That is the reason we're writing 40,000 in the credit column. Why sales is a credit balance? Because sales falls under real account as well as nominal account. Here, when goods are sold, goods go out from the business. So sales account will be credited. According to nominal account, all incomes and gains credit. Here, when goods are sold, money comes in. So sales is an income for the business. So sales account will be credited. Understood? So the last account is purchases. Purchases 20,000. Let's write purchases. Purchases is a debit balance, and that is the reason we are writing 20,000 in the debit column. Why purchases is a debit balance? Because purchases falls under real account as well as nominal account. According to real account, what comes in is debit. When goods are purchased, goods come into the business. So purchases account will be debited. According to nominal account, all losses and expenses debit. Here, when goods are purchased, money goes out. So purchases is an expense for the business. So purchases account will be debited. Understood? Now let's calculate the debit column and the credit column. Okay? The total of debit column is 1,80,000 and the total of credit column is 50,000. That means there will be a balancing figure. The total of credit column is only 50,000 and the total of debit column is 1,80,000. And I told you, যে টোটালটা বেশি হবে সেই টোটালটা আমরা দুটো কলমে লিখব. So now the balancing figure will be capital. Understood? See, আমাদের কি বলা হয়েছিল? প্রবলেমে বলা হয়েছিল the amount required to balance should be entered as capital. তার মানে এই ট্রায়াল ব্যালেন্সটা ব্যালেন্স করবে না, ট্যালি করবে না. যেটা ব্যালেন্সিং ফিগার হবে should be entered or treated as capital. Okay? So the balancing figure will be capital. Let's do it. আমাদের প্রবলেমে অলরেডি বলা আছে the balancing figure will be treated as capital. তো সেই জন্য the total of debit column is 1,80,000 and we'll have to write the total of debit column in the credit column also. যেটা বড় হবে সেটা আমরা দুটো কলমে লিখব. The total of credit column is only 50,000. So if you deduct the total of credit column from the total of debit column, you'll get 1,30,000. And 1,30,000 will be treated as capital because in the problem it has already been mentioned in the problem that the balancing figure will be treated as capital. So capital will be the balancing figure. So the amount of capital will be 1,30,000. Okay. So now the trial balance did tally. The total of debit column is equal to the total of credit column. Okay. I hope you understood. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your precious time. I sincerely hope this was helpful. And before I fade out, please remember, a positive mind always finds opportunity in everything. A negative mind always finds fault in everything. So be positive always. Bye-bye. Take care. Stay safe and stay blessed always.